Good morning, this is Math 4 for Thursday, April 9th. So today we're going to begin adding our fractions. So let's talk about adding fractions. They give us the problem 5/8 plus 6/8. I really like to look at these problems going this way, so that we can see the numerators beside the numerators and the denominators beside the denominators. Now, the rule for adding and subtracting fractions is that they must, in order to add them together, have the same denominator. Okay? So when we add fractions, we keep the denominator. So they have the same denominator, so we keep the denominator of 8 here. And then 6 plus 5 is 11. So we get 11/8 is our answer. Okay? But now what we have to think is this is what we call an improper fraction. And an improper fraction cannot stay that way for an answer. An improper fraction is where the number on top, the numerator, is bigger than the number on bottom, the denominator. Okay? So this is what we have to think. What would be equal to 1 if it was cut into eighths? 8/8, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, if I took out an 8/8 and made that one whole, how many pieces would there be left? Well, 8 minus 11 would be what? 3. So 3/8 would be left. So can't we agree that 8/8 plus 3/8 equals 11/8? Okay, now why did I do that? Now I'm back to the beginning, aren't I? Well, not really, because here I can say that 8/8 is 1. So my answer is 1 and 3/8. Okay, so I hope you can see. We're going to add them together and get an answer. And then we're going to take out a whole, if we can. We can take out 8/8. We have 3 left over, so this becomes a big 1 and 3/8. Okay, so my answer is 1 and 3/8. Okay, so anytime that the numerator is bigger than the denominator in the answer, you have to change it to what we call a mixed number. Improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay, let's do number 1 together. Number 1 says 3/5 plus 1/5. Okay, so our denominator is the same, so we know that the bottom is 5 and 3 plus 1 is 4. Now, is this one improper? No, it's a good fraction. The 4 is smaller than the 5, so 4/5 is our answer. Let's skip down to number 6. Okay, let me erase this really quick. Okay, number 6 is 3/9 plus 3/9 plus 4/9. Okay, so our denominator is 9, so we can keep the denominator, and then we need to add the numerators. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now we get 10/9. So what would my whole number here, or my 1, look like? Well, I want to use the 9 on the bottom, and if I took out 9/9, right, that actually means 1. And then how many would I have left over if I took out 9? I would have 1 left over. So I have my 1 and 1/9. So my answer is 1 and 1/9. Okay? You might be able to do some of this in your head, but I'm kind of showing you what you should be thinking as you're doing those. Okay, so let's look down at the subtraction. Okay, so in the green box, they give us a subtraction problem. I can't really tell what the problem is supposed to be. Okay, it's 1 minus 2/7. Now here they offset it a little bit, which is kind of weird, isn't it? Because this is the spot for a fraction, and this is the spot for whole numbers. So see how they're lined up. Makes a little bit more sense when you look at it this way. So what would our fraction be? It's just 0, right? Because there's nothing there. So how can I can I say 0 minus anything? No, right? So what I have to do is the same thing, is I need to borrow from my 1, okay? Now, can I just put a 1 in that spot? That won't work. What I have to do is take my 1 over to the side, my big 1, and I want to say, well, what fraction could I make that would equal 1? Well, I have lots of options. I could do 2 over 2. I could do 4 over 4. I could do 7 over 7, right? Because all of these fractions are equal to 1. We learned that yesterday. Well, which fraction do you think I should choose by looking at the number or the denominator that I need to match for my problem? Right. I'm going to use 7/7 because it matches the denominator that I'm using. And I can't add or subtract unless I have matching denominators. So I'm going to mark out that 1. It becomes a 0. And this one becomes 7/7. Okay? So now I say 7 minus 2 is 5/7. And there's nothing over here. So my answer is 5/7. Okay, let's do another one of those because I want to practice. Let's look at number 10 on your work. Number 10, your problem says 1 minus 2/4. Okay, let's look at it this way, 1 minus 2/4, just like we did that problem. I can't say 0 minus 2/4, so I need to borrow from the 1, make it a 0. And when I bring my 1 over here, let's think about what fraction do I need. Do I want 2 over 2, 3 over 3, 4 over 4? Which one of these do I need to use? Well, I want to look at the denominator. That's right, 4 over 4. So I exchange my 1 for a fraction that means the same thing as 1. Okay, so 4/4, so 4 minus 2 is 2. And I keep the denominator the same. Okay, and I get 2/4. Okay, so I hope that gets you started. You're going to be adding and subtracting fractions. Try to think through those. You're going to be changing the improper fractions to a mixed number, and then you're going to be borrowing a whole and changing it to a fraction to mean the same thing, so you can do your work. Make sure you Marco Polo me if you need some help.